Oh, here we go. We got the A team today. What's happening, everybody?
Woo!
Yeah,
Hi.
yeah.
Hello, swimming world.
Kurt, mate, what's going on? Coming from New York, right?
Yeah, out of New York. It's been a long time coming. It's great to be finally be on the, the Joe Rogan of swimming podcast with Hawkeye. Mate, it grows by the day.
Yeah, it grows by the day. I appreciate that, mate. Thank you. We're starting to pull a team together. You know, Megan is been awesome the last few months with us, kind of joining in here and there, which has been awesome. Sonny's a regular, so we're starting to figure it out. You know.
Well, I think this is what swimming's needed for so long, isn't it? It's breaking news. Swimming is extremely boring, and you need to pump it up. It's a pair of people in budgie smugglers going up and down a pool. You need to tell people why it matters. And I think, being great storytellers is a huge part of that. And hopefully we can push to, world swimming and further and beyond to try and sell the sport to the mob that, aren't psychos.
Well, those that might not know your face the way it is right now, because you got some extra facial hair, but if they hear the voice, they would know that you worked with the ISL for those few years that it was going, and you were kind of what was your official role? Was it the play-by-play caller? What were you doing there?
Pretty much play-by-play call, intros, just everything that happened at the venue. So I think all the swimmers could appreciate the effort that goes into it, putting on a big show. And when we had crowds for the first 2 seasons, so we put on some solid efforts for the crowd, and even more important in Budapest when we had no crowd, in that bubble to pump everyone up. But it was just trying to go nutso and make it, something that, it's just swim league. What does it really matter in the context? It's not an Olympics. It's not a world championships, but we can make them believe these storylines and make it awesome. And I guess for someone that hasn't been to a swim league or knew about it, I think what Constantine was really trying to do in the end, and what I'd love to see in the future in that format or another, is it's kind of like swimming crossing world wrestling entertainment. Yeah. It is just a show, and it is just storytelling, and it is lights, and it is just, and then there's definitely a space for that, surely somewhere in the calendar. So it was a lot of fun, but unfortunately, it came to an end. But we moved on, and
Sonny, you were there, mate. You got to see Kurt in action. What was it like watching him perform?
Well, you also come and visited, but I've said this time and time again, but no one understood how good the ISL was if you never were there. And it's an unfortunate thing that the streams and the broadcasts couldn't capture the essence of the meet, because they were just electric. The work Kurt was doing, the work the swimmers were doing, the production team and all the lights, just them 2-hour meets. Everyone loved every second. I mean, I think people missed how much the swimmers even loved being there and racing and cared about winning and losing. And there was like drama. It was great. And it's the only time I've really felt like that at a swim meet. And we need something like it sooner rather than later.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's gone for now. Hopefully we can get something back. But Kurt, what do you got coming up in the future? You said you're going to Europe, right?
Yeah. So, Megsy and I were doing some stuff with Swimming Australia. Earlier in the year, we had Australian Age Championships and the Open Championships there as well. And we were, pushing pretty hard to get back for the trials as well. But, never heard back from swimming. So considering they're 4 days through trials now, I don't think I'm going to get that gig. But we try and get back to, obviously, Megsy's overseas, I'm overseas, and we try and bust ourselves pretty hard to get back to Australia at the end of each summer, just to keep some consistency there. That's for sure, just at a national level. But now, just signing on with Len, who's been really awesome. So first gig coming up in August. We've got that new meet. It's that Euro under-23 meet. The US is sending a team there. A couple others as well. So I guess it's just trying to bridge that gap. You've got the junior champs. What's juniors? 14s to 18s. And so there's maybe a little bit of a gap there for, those swimmers that are a little bit old but not quite good enough for opens, or maybe they just want to get some more race practice. I want to see, as much racing as possible. And that was the other thing that Swim League got. It gets swimmers in front of the camera. It gets them on. So, that'd be great. Irish swimming is obviously just absolutely heaving at the moment. I don't think they've ever been stronger. So it's the first major meet they've had in Dublin in over a decade. I think they had a Euro short course there maybe 10 years ago. So Irish swimming I had a great meeting with them a couple of days ago. They're coming through the front. They just want a Eurovision swim meet, really. And we're just going to put on a big party, big music, pump the kids up. And it's only a 3-day meet. It's a crazy, hectic program. But, Euro swimming, here we come. It's going to be pretty fun.
That's awesome. Good for them. It sounds like there's more of this stuff going on. Petey just put on his own meet, which is cool. So, maybe
I saw the fireworks. He had little sparklers. It was cute. No, it's really cute. Where's Petey at? Where's he at? Do we know? What's he doing?
I don't know.
He was down in my neck of the woods the other day, down in Cornwall, because I think the cat's out the bag now, but he's potentially dating Gordon Ramsay's daughter, and she's got a place down in Cornwall, so he's been down here quite a bit with her. And
gossip.
Oh, so he's got free food.
He posted her on his Instagram the other day, so I don't think it's like it's breaking news or anything. It's out there stuff.
Does Dad make him dinner every night?
I want an invite if that's the case. Yeah, that's a reason to date someone, right?
Don't want to be in his bad books.
Oh yeah.
But swimming wise, are we going to see him next year? Is he done? Is he going to have one more go?
No, he's swimming for sure. Yeah, I talked to his coach a couple of days ago. She was preparing for his preparation, putting it all together. So he's definitely in. He's full tilt. I mean, look, anyone knows what the Olympics are worth, and we're a year out effectively. It's like, come on, like I'm seeing these retirement stories, and again, I got nothing personally against any of these kids personally. What I have something against is like, why would you stop 1 year out? I just do not understand this 1 year out thing. Like, we all have issues, right? But Kurt, you'll never swim at the Olympics, mate. I'm sorry, you'll never get there.
I knew that at 12 years of age.
Well, even if that's the case, it's past whatever. You're past your prime. I'm past my prime. I'll never get back to an Olympics. These guys that are stopping a year out are still in their prime. Like, whatever the circumstances, Megan has gone through some of the most harrowing life circumstances you could possibly go through, and still come out the back end of it and figured out a way to perform and win and be successful while she's in her prime. We talked about this yesterday, like, this devastating tragedy didn't end her career. Now, I don't know everybody's circumstances here. And I guess primarily I'm talking about who just announced their retirement, Sonny? Reese Whitley, right. Reese Whitley just came out today and basically effectively said he's done. And like, unless some tragic accident happened and you lost a leg, I don't get it.
I get it, but when the love is gone, the love is gone. Like, if you don't have that spark to get up and that drive, it could be 12 months out of the Olympics. I think you make a good point though, especially on a short turnaround, only 3 years between these two Olympics. Why wouldn't you just hang in there? And I guess when we recap Australian champs as well, and we can talk about Abby Connor last night, she announced her retirement online in April, and I thought it was over. And now, and now she's come back, and I felt for her. She finished 4th at the Com Games, and we can go through it. But now she's back, and now she's on the team. So,
well, I said this yesterday, Kurt. You got the rest of your life to be miserable. You can hate swimming for the rest of your life. Like, just put in a year and have a crack at going to Paris. Like, that would, like, I would give anything to go back in time and have a crack at Paris. Like, I'd love to go. I'd love to at least attempt to go to Paris. And look, all I'm saying is some of these swimmers are just retiring in their prime. And I know these swimmers personally in terms of, I don't feel like there's anything major going on in their life. Yeah, there's struggles. I'm not taking away the struggles. Megan, go. Take over here. I'm just ranting.
I just think, like, also, like, you say, like, the love of swimming. Like, I lost the love of swimming, right? And I took some time off. But I think if the Olympic Games doesn't motivate you for one more year, I don't know what will. Like, if that doesn't motivate you to be the best person or to be the best swimmer you can, Like, why are you actually swimming then? Like, if you don't want to be the best, or you don't want to try and make the best team there is, like, if you can't do one more year, or like that doesn't motivate you to go to the Olympics, I'm not too sure what will, competitive wise. Like, yep, there's social things, you know, that motivate you to swim. But I think, like, motivation wise, like, if you can't a year out go, okay, yep, I'm going to crack, you know, give it everything. And I have some regrets. Like, I have smaller regrets from my swimming career. Like, I wish I did this, or I wish I did that. And I say to swimmers now, like, just do everything you can, because, like, once you're past your prime, you can't go back. Like, I would love to go back, but you just can't. So I just think, what's a year? Like, you know, what's a year sounds a long time in swimming terms when you're training, you know, 8-9 times a week. But, you know, in the scheme of things, if that doesn't motivate you to give it one last crack for the Olympics, I'm not sure anything else in the sport will. And you know, like, everyone has a story, and everyone might have things going on, but I just think it's an individual thing. And I actually like watching Reece Whitley. I follow him on Instagram. I think he's a bit of a cracker. So I was actually really disappointed. I was like, come on, mate, like, trials isn't that far away. So I don't know. I'm with you, Brett. I just think one more year, like, I would like to, if I was a swimmer, I'd like to go out and go, no what ifs, you know, never a what if.
Yeah, you're retired forever. That's the thing.
Yeah,
Once
exactly.
you're gone, you can't come back. In saying that, and I'd be really intrigued, how many former swimmers still swim? Because in my mind, I would put it at, I'd be guessing 20%. Most of them couldn't stand the smell of chlorine. Once they're done, they go do something else. Like, I still, not that I ever swim at any level, but I love swimming. Like, I swim 3 times a week for an hour. Like, I love the water. I love that. That's my time. You know, it doesn't matter what. iPhones don't work in the chlorine. Like, it's amazing. But I'm assuming most former swimmers can't stand the place. No? Do you guys still swim?
I think it's just like, I mean, first of all, when you're saying about the love of swimming, we're the sort of guys that go on live every day for a week to talk about swimming, right? So we're a really niche group of people. And, you know, some people just, swimming might have always been their second thing. They might have put education or their career, and it doesn't, like, just because they're really bloody good, it doesn't mean they like something else more. And if they don't like swimming more than the other thing, then it finishes when it finishes. And just because we can't rationalize that. But even on Kurt's point, I mean, I'm young, but I still love swimming. I still swim probably the same as you, Kurt, 3 times a week. I still like doing masters stuff and meets, you know, once or twice a year. But then Brett, who also loves swimming, I mean, how often do you get in a pool, Brett? And you love swimming, like, I mean, as a sport, but as a participant, you prefer the gym.
Well, this is the thing, I guess, with that, right? The reason why I was satisfied at retiring at 31 is because I made sure I squeezed every ounce out of swimming that I could possibly squeeze out of it, right? Like, that's where I have literally no regrets in terms of, you know, my talent, my ability to do it, everything. I went to 31. I had a couple of kids. I traveled the world for 7 years. I did everything I could possibly do in the sport. Now, could I have swum longer? Yes, I didn't have injuries and that sort of thing. At that time, I probably could have gone longer. But for me, it was enough at that point. Whereas I just think, look, again, I don't know, but a guy like Reece Whitley, who's 24, 25 years old, let's say, and has never made an Olympic team, and you're a year out from the Olympics, and people are going to say all the different things about him, like he can't do this and he can't do that. Okay, prove everybody wrong in terms of just having the best crack at it you can. He's just finished college, so now his mind's off college. He could just dedicate swimming to a year. I don't know. I just when I look back on my life, I don't want to have any regrets and say, man, I left something on the table there. And it just feels like Reece and a couple other people are just leaving something on the table. When they look back 10, 15 years from now, they're going to be like, damn, like I was still in the prime of my life. Why'd I walk away from that? You know, life is hard enough. You know, Kurt, you know, it's tough as it is, mate.
My life's easy. I've got no kids. I'm living the dream. But no, do you still swim, Brett? Would you get in the pool? How often would you say you get in the pool a month? Like, would you go back in the pool at all for any fitness?
I don't swim in pools too much. I like to get in oceans. I'll get in lakes. Yep. I like to get in water. I feel great in water. I don't like to get in pools because it always reminds me of repeats. Like when I'm sitting in a pool, I'm thinking about a clock. I'm thinking about an interval. I'm thinking about beating the person. I'm in a competitive mindset. I'm in a got to get better mindset. When I'm in an ocean, I'm in a relaxed mindset. I'm in just enjoy it, like see the fish, play with the dolphins, catch a wave. Like that's not a competitive set for me, but like it feels good to be in water. So I love water. I don't love the pool itself.
What about you, Megs? You still swim? How often?
No, not really. I do a triathlon. Yep. So like 2 weeks ago, I did a swim in a triathlon team, 1.9K. And I trained all of once for it, which I did 1K straight, and I thought my arms were going to fall off. But I'm the same. Like I love water and I love the sport of swimming. But every time I get in, like it just, I don't know, it gives me the shivers. Like when I look up at a whiteboard and I see like, sets, it gives me the absolute shivers of I just remember like 12 400s every Tuesday morning with Doug Frost. And that just absolutely gives me the shivers every time. But it's something, I didn't touch the pool for maybe for 2 or 3 years afterwards. Absolutely hated swimming, didn't even talk about it. So I've only just kind of fallen back in love with swimming, and I'm in the ocean or the lake, like all the time. So I love that. But put me in a pool like Brett, like I just get competitive, and then, I just want to know what time I'm going, and then I feel like I get back into the feeling like, okay, you're really crap still because you can't even make 1:30. So
I don't think either of you are alone there. I would survey most, former swimmers, and the majority of them wouldn't swim at all anymore. And I think it stems from that childhood as well. You live literally like a Michael Jackson type childhood from the age of 8 growing up. You have to be in the pool. You're doing this. You lose all your teenage years. You don't get to go out party with your friends for the most part. And so when that career comes to an end at whatever age that is, that's almost the time to let yourself go.
Yeah. I'll say one last thing on this. And again, if Reese is listening, if Annie Lays is listening, if any of these people are listening who have just retired, please don't take this as an insult. I don't know your life. I don't know your story. I'm giving my personal opinion. It could mean absolutely nothing to you. So I hope not to offend anybody. But I will say this. There was a time where I missed the Olympic team in 96 by a couple of hundredths of seconds. I've told this story many times. And I just thought I would never be an Olympian. I thought I was just not good enough. I thought I'd never get there. I dedicated 1 year of my life in 99 to get to this Sydney Olympics, and I made the Olympic team and then went on to swim at another Olympics. But I'll tell you this, the Olympics absolutely changed my life. Like when you go to college and you get a degree, you have this piece of paper that's yours for life. No one will ever take that away from you. You have a degree. It feels good. No matter what, if it means nothing to anybody, if it doesn't get you anywhere, it still feels good to have it, right? And to me, stopping a year out from the Olympics is like stopping a year out from finishing your college degree. It's just like, just finish it, just get it. It's there. But like that Olympic thing absolutely changed my life. And I went from someone who never thought would actually be an Olympian to now being a double Olympian. And I'm like, it changed everything. So again, maybe it's just me and my experience where I think of Reese Whitley, I'm like, oh man, so close. Like just have a crack at it, but anyway, we can move on. A lot of people in the comments section begging us to talk about swimming right now, like some actual swimming that's going on. So we'll start with you, Kurt. What's your thoughts on the Aussie trials overall?
Well, let's just go day 4. Like straight up, the best day. It's been the best day so far. It'll be the best day of the whole meet. Just swims dropping the fronts. Like Kaylee McKeown, like, are you serious? Like you can put this chick in any pool. You can put her in a backyard pool. She is going to deliver every single time. And I think
wow, she looks like she's in a backyard pool right now.
We can talk about that as well. But yeah, just dominant display here in that 200 back, 2:03.7. Second in the world this year, and just 0.56 off the world record. Sorry, half a second off her own world record. The thing about Kaylee, and I think Sonny touched on this before, it doesn't matter. Don't worry about tapers for her, and don't worry about anything else. She can swim anytime, any place. If we're having the Olympic final at midnight, in the Hudson River, she'll be there and she'll win. She just loves to race. She's a racer, and I think the one thing with her that scares me is just her competitive nature. I think if you want to go play marbles against her and there was nothing riding on it, she would give it everything she's got to beat you. She hates losing. If it's air hockey, if it's marbles, if it's swimming in a public pool and there's a CrossFit athlete doing freestyle and she's doing backstroke, over in lane 8, and she gets a look at that, swimmer, she'll just want to smoke him as well. So it's a wonderful time to be a swimming fan when you've got someone like Kaylee, and she's been the star of the show once again.
Yeah, you're a 200 backstroker, Megan. What do you think?
Yeah, I liked, so her last 250s were exactly the same, 31.49, which I don't think that happens very often. But
yeah, let's look at those splits. Where are they? Yeah,
so she went out pretty solidly. And I just think I'd like to see, she's so far ahead, right? In Australian trials, she's so far ahead. There's actually no competition. So I would really like to see her go head to head with someone in a 200 backstroke. Obviously, hopefully we'll get it at Worlds. I just think I'd love to see her a bit more under pressure in the 200 backstroke. I know she can absolutely deliver, but I don't know, when you're swimming by yourself, it's a completely different race. When you're swimming right next to someone going stroke to stroke. So I'd love to see, Regan and her push each other a little bit more, and whether that brings out the best in both, whether it brings a world record, whether it doesn't. But Kaylee's, she's in absolute league of her own. So yeah, 31.5, 31.4, 31.4. So super consistent. That's what you want for the last 350s for 200 backstroke. First one's controlled, last 350s. And Bowley tells you that all the time. The last 350s should be really consistent. But good thing for Kaylee is she's getting more dangerous. So she's obviously gone, okay, my weakest part of my backstroke is my skills. And she is working those skills and her start. And I think, to be honest, that's dangerous because she doesn't have too much more to improve on. But if she can improve, 0.1 on every turn, that's without free swim, that's 0.3. She's nearly under that world record already. So I think, she's pretty dangerous when she works on those turns.
Sonny, I love watching her compete like this because she reminds me kind of like a Milak, where she's not swimming down to the level of her competition. She's swimming to her own personal ability, right?
Yeah, but even with what Kurt was saying about, she's a winner, she's a racer and all this, when she's in domestic competitions, and this is kind of like the depth of world swimming for women, but what did she win that by? 7 seconds there? We've all swum. We all know how different it is when you're fighting to beat someone who's close to you. And what Milak doesn't have is anyone in the 200 butterfly on a world level that can touch him. But what Kaylee does have in every event she swims, really close competition, be it Regan in the backstrokes, be it Summer and a few others in the IMs. So, and that's a different feeling when maybe she's ahead with 50 to go and she knows Regan's going to push it back, or maybe Regan's slightly ahead of her and she has to really push herself to try and not overrate, but just stay on top of the stroke and trust herself she's going to swim past Regan. So, and that's look, we know she can win because she's won for the past couple of years at the major meets, but it is a different thing altogether when you do almost this time trial like thing versus a race, and she's going to get a race soon.
Yeah, I can't wait for that race. I cannot wait.
I'll mark that one down. We'll go through this. I want to know your top 3 races to look forward to coming Worlds, but we might finish on that. But do you want to continue with last night's action and
keep going?
We'll save Kyle for last because there were some other epic swims, and Lizzie Decker's 200 fly. Man, 19 years of age, Australian all-comers record, 3rd quickest time in the world this year, 3rd fastest Australian all-time, faster than Susie O'Neill has ever swum.
Wow.
And just, a phenomenal effort. We know she's good. She's proved that at the Commonwealth Games last year. She took out that Commonwealth title, but just goes another. And all you want to see here is PBs. She drops a PB and just in phenomenal company now, really, and puts herself right up there. Obviously under Vince Raleigh there at Chandler. And then in this race as well, Abby Connor, 18 years of age, 4th of the Commonwealth Games. We touched on it before. Said, I'm going to retire. I've had enough in April. Comes back and qualifies at 207.61. And credit to her and her coach there at Revesby Workers, Alex Clark, who I used to race against as well. He's super passionate about swimming. He'd be so happy for his young girl getting on the team.
Lizzie,
Huh?
Lizzie Deckers really excites me, but you can see so one thing, I mean, she's moved to the Vince Rally at Chandler, which I think is amazing. I think she's going to actually absolutely go faster and faster. But if you look at her butterfly, she's super low, in her upper body, but her legs I just want to kick for her. I just want to go, why don't you use your legs every time? And obviously it's working for her, but I think she's got, and you saw it off the start as well, I think she's got so much improvement, which is really exciting because she's only 19 and she's going 205. I think though her skills and her start, she's got so much more improvement with her. And she was pretty, watching her interview after the race, she was so excited and so happy. And I think she's really exciting. If she can get skills and a little bit stronger to go out a little bit faster, because she doesn't have that much speed, but kicking skills. She's one to really watch for sure.
Yeah, what's he doing there? He just putting a strap on her around her ankles and just swimming fly. That's what it looks like.
100%.
No kick.
Her stroke just looks like one of them rugged girls who's just done a load of work and just is super consistent and just I can pull butterfly all day and just hit 31s, 31s, and it's mad to watch, but. 200 butterflies, that one of them weird events where the world record's off at 201, but 205 wins medals. So she's going a time that wins medals, but we believe that there's room for improvement with her because she's still 4 seconds adrift from the world record. I think she looks really exciting. That looks really exciting.
Oh, Meg's is spot on. Her ceiling is huge. Even her touches, her turns, so much more that she can do. And I'd see that as a positive and not as a negative for her, but upper body strength. She can do a 400 fly. She is. Yeah.
It looks like I think she is doing those. That's what she is doing.
Get in that gym and start squatting. Get some deep squats going and get those legs pumping. I'm so stoked for it. Definitely stoked for it.
Yeah, Vince Rally. Hey, Vince Rally. Listen, this is not a knock on Vince either, but Vince was old when I was young, and I'm old now. So Vince is real old. So he's been producing for years. That guy.
And it's interesting.
Sorry, go.
It's interesting because he's the coach of Zach Subtlety Cook, and if you know Zach, Zach doesn't have the big start either. So come on, that's Vinny Chase. Let's just work on those starts all session.
I spoke to him about his retirement plan when I was at Australian Champs. I pulled him aside and said, man, how much longer can you do this for? Yeah. And he was like, I've got an exit plan. I've got to go and it's going to be okay. So definitely on to Paris. And then I think he's going to phase it out from there. So, but yeah, what a great squad. And mate, Deckers could easily be one of the swims of the night last night for sure.
Yeah, massive.
That's the conversation I've had with a lot of coaches though, is especially the older ones, they're like, I don't want to go because, I've got this really talented kid who's improving and we're 2 years away from the Olympics. And then the Olympics comes around, there's another kid who's starting to be good. And you want to it's just, when you call it as a coach, when you've got someone like Zach Stubblety Cook and Elizabeth Deckers and, she's 19, she could be going, who knows where she could go? She could be the first woman under 2 minutes.
That's what I mean, Sonny. The coaches are hanging on till they're 98. The swimmers are giving up at 24.
There's going to be a succession plan. I think that's where I would put my money on. That's for sure. He loves his farm. He's obviously he wants to retire eventually. We move on for day 4, but like I said, before we get to the last 2 freestyles in obviously in Kyle and Arnie, Tommy Neal, 200 IM. 157.74, 4th fastest Australian all time. Worldwide, okay, it's 12th this year, but you got to remember, Neil's a freestyler. 2-4, 15. He anchored Australia's 4x2 in Tokyo to that bronze medal. Okay. Training partner of Sam Short under Damien Jones there at Rackley there at Spring Hill. So, got the qualifying time bang on, 157.74, and yeah, stoked for Tommy to get an individual swim in the 200 IM, and just what Australia needed, a bit of a bolt, a bit of a spark up in an event where they really lack some strength.
Another one of those cases here where Brendan Smith actually got under the A cut for the World Championships, but didn't get under the A cut for the Aussie team. So actually is sitting on the fence. I don't know whether they'll take him or not, but it looks like he didn't make the cut. So maybe they don't take him.
He's got a 400. He'll be fine.
400
okay.
Yeah.
Look at that last 50. You know he swims a 4 IM half decently. He's like the Bobby Fink of 400 IM, just comes home like an absolute weapon. 400 IM at the Olympics, I think his last 100 was like 55 or 56. Just runs everyone down. Yeah,
Have they done the 400 IM in Australia yet?
No.
Okay,
No,
good. So he hasn't made the team yet, so I wasn't totally wrong. But yeah, I wouldn't have watched the 400 IM anyway. But
the other thing I just want to touch on, Neil, is and the same, I guess, with Deckers, but we see her. Her weaknesses in her turns and starts. But for Neil, his breaststroke is he knows it. Everyone knows it. It's no good. It's not very good. But he's got so much more work to do there. So his ceiling is so high. You're the fourth fastest Australian all time, and you still haven't got your breaststroke sorted. That's exciting. Like, I see that as a massive positive. That's super exciting. The kid's only 20, and he's got another big ceiling.
Yeah, well, I agree with you. Breaststroke takes time. It's not like he's going to get that sorted in a month from now. But that's going to take a little while to get it where it needs to be. Maybe a couple of seasons. But yeah, like you said, he's young and got a lot more in him. So yeah, exciting for him to just figure out one stroke now.
Especially when you're going up against Leon Marchand on that breaststroke and Michael Andrew on that breaststroke.
Yeah.
Listen, if he makes the final, I think that'd be huge for him, at this point in time. But just cool. I think that was just kind of cool to see something that you probably didn't expect. And for the most, like, you look at trials, I look at trials. What has the trials shown us? Not like hasn't been anything like crazy. Everyone's who we thought they were. It's not like, oh, this is insane, that's insane. Like everyone's pretty much delivered on what we thought. So. It's nice to get a couple little surprises, especially Neil and Decker's going PBs.
Oh, we lost him. He dropped. Where'd Kurt go? Megan, quick, get a word in.
It'd actually be interesting to see if Tommy Neal favours the 200 IM or the 400 freestyle. So what he actually focuses on, which would be really quite interesting. I like Tommy Neal. He's actually like one of probably the best humans you'll meet. Really, really nice guy. Even better, probably athlete. But like Kurt said, he's really exciting. Really, really exciting and a bit of a surprise. 157. It's not super fast world-wise, but Australian-wise, I think we haven't had a good 200 IM for a little while. So it's exciting for Tommy. We love Tommy.
Yeah.
It's Mitch Larkin, right? That was probably the last great 200 IM swim on the men's side for Australia when Mitch Larkin was throwing down some quick times.
I think he's still got the Australian record. I think it's 155.
Yeah. Yeah, he
went 155. So, been a few years. So, Tommy to get 157, I think he can definitely go faster, whether it's this, whether it's at Worlds or next season, hopefully. But, he's going to get faster. He's back.
Yeah. Well, Kurt's back. That's good. Good. All right. What's the next one, mate?
Where were we at?
200 IM.
Okay, so we just finished with Tommy. Awesome. Let's go with Arnie, 800. And I think, 8:15, 8:8, second in the world this year, just behind the GOAT. Only 2 seconds off her best. So, I look at Arnie's meet and, the swimming casuals will probably say, she lost a molly in the 2, 400 was okay, 800 was probably her best swim of the meet, but hey, she's ticking the boxes. She does what champs do. She gets through the meet. She's qualified in all 3. And I think it's been a real, I guess, for lack of a better word, like a workmanlike performance by her at trials. And I wouldn't read too much into it. I don't know. What do you guys think?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think I read something yesterday. It was like for the Australian media, the champ got dethroned, or the queen of swimming got dethroned by Molly O'Callaghan. And I was like,
she did.
But come on, it was so dramatic.
That's a great headline. That's a great headline. She deserved it. She got dethroned.
Yeah, but what is trials? trials is your aim is to make world's team, right? Like that's your aim. So
yeah, but listen, if we don't have dramatic headlines, we don't have any drama, you know. And like Kurt's opened up this whole platform and basically said swimming's boring, so it is like we need a little bit of like drama. Add it in.
Spicy headlines, but yeah, that was the spiciest headline I've seen. And I think for Ariane, it's actually kind of good because she's going into Worlds. She doesn't have a world record, and she's not the fastest swimmer, so she's got less pressure. And I think Arnie swims probably better with a little bit less pressure. She probably likes to chase a little bit more. And I think she's absolutely just done everything she needs to. She hasn't done, super fast. She hasn't done really slow, but I think she's working towards something special at Worlds. And she's super consistent. But yeah, she looked like she hurt a little bit in that 800, but she was only a couple of seconds off her PB, so we'll see.
Sonny, you got up early to watch the 800. What were your thoughts about it?
I didn't even know it happened until Kurt said, and then the 800. And I was like, oh, that happened, did it? That happened. So I quickly went on the results and checked the results and saw, 8:15.
Well, I was surprised Lonnie Pallister didn't swim particularly fast either.
8:20 solid though.
Oh,
right?
Third fastest swimmer of her career, big program. Yeah, I think, mate, Lani was fine as well.
I didn't read that correctly. I thought it said 8:29. I was like, that's pretty slow.
No.
8:20 is all right. It's just 8:04 from Katie just makes everything seem crap that isn't, it's just freaks like Katie just make everyone else way more ordinary. But 8:20 is still really good.
But I think the thing with that, don't worry about the 8:04 from Katie. I think what we saw at Tokyo as well is that 800 it's a race. Do you know what I mean? And Arnie almost got her in Tokyo. Like that was closer than you thought. Than you thought. And I think that'll be the exciting thing coming into that 800 in Paris for sure.
Well, the thing I don't love about Arnie here, I guess, and maybe I'm just being critical here in this sense, because I know she's going to be better at Worlds, but she seems a little human here. Like she seems human, like I have this image of her of just being this tough, superhuman woman who's taken down the GOAT and, gone on to the next level of being this Olympic champ. And it's just like, and then now it's almost like she's just come back to earth a little bit and she just feels human again,
I would frame this in kind of a aspect of this was an experimental meet for her. And I think you saw the way that she raced that 800 last night. She went out real hard. She doesn't normally do that. Her pacing is normally finishes very strong. Saw it in the 400 where she came home over the top of Ledecky in Tokyo. And the same the 200 as well. Went out maybe a little bit too hard. And then Molly coming home over the top. So, but these are what these meets are for. You can have a little bit of a play and see what works, what doesn't work. But I don't know, like champions, you don't write champions off. And does it matter what she does at Worlds? Does it matter if she loses, if she wins? Like,
no
one's going to remember the world champion. No one's going to remember the world champion in 18 months' time. Like, I'm just frothing for that 400.
Brutal today. It's boring. No one's remembering world champions.
Well, I'm just like, come Paris. And that 400.
Oh yeah, I mean it's all gearing up for Paris for sure. I mean all the everything we're doing now between now and Paris is all about Paris. But yeah, the World Championships will mean something. Right. But I don't know. What's your thoughts, Sonny?
Other girls got better. Simple answer. Look at that. That's Alfonso's thoughts. I think you sleep for a second at the moment and something else comes along. Like Summer McIntosh. It's funny how like. When we do these live shows, depending on what's going on, we get like questions about certain people. And about 6 months ago, it was all like, hey guys, what do you think of Summer McIntosh? And, and now she hasn't raced in a while and it's all like, Titmus and we kind of are goldfish in that sense, but Summer McIntosh hasn't gone anywhere and she's going to be really good. And just look at trajectories of everything. Ariane hasn't moved on in a year. She didn't really race all the major meets last year, and she took some rest time. And Summer's just getting experience and getting better, and she's not backing down from anything. I think people are going to be really shocked about how good. Not shocked, but I think it's going to be very one-sided. I don't think it's going to be close. Come Paris, I don't think that 400 free is close. I think Summer wins by 2 or 3 seconds.
Whoa!
Yeah! Wow! Woo!
Dr.
Bang.
Mike.
There we go. There we go. Just pat your mullet back there. Just streak that while you say that. Yes. Oh, look at that, man. That's power. That's power. I like that.
Yeah.
Well, it'll definitely be a hell of a race, that's for sure. And if you're a Netflix or whatever, dude, get this Last Dance going. Let's get these film crews in Fukuoka. I want cameras on Ledecky, Titmus, and McIntosh. Follow them around. Let's get the little entree. Let's get the appetizer and that 400 done. Let's do the lead up to Paris. Follow their programs, their coaches, the highs and lows. And because for mine, and maybe I'm biased because I love swimming, is it not one of the best female sporting, events in the history of women's sport? We want to champion women's sport. We want to get it together. This is the tennis equivalent of Nadal and Federer and Djokovic playing at the same time on the court in Wimbledon at the arena. It's all there for us. Let's get, World Swimming, make the call. Let's get Netflix. Let's get on it. Let's tell the world about it. It's going to be amazing.
I'd like that. I don't think Dean will let you in. Maybe unless there was an agreement to say, okay, you can film everything up and release it after the event. But he's not.
That's how they get away with it, don't they? That's how they get away. This is in house. None of this goes to air. None of this gets shared. This is all. And I think when you get that inside look, if they can open up and they get used to the cameras in their face, you are going to see some epic stuff, like the training sets and the psychology and how different the three of them are in their careers as well. Ledecky, the greatest of all time, Arnie trying to dethrone her, and then Summer, who's just, a once-in-a-generation talent. All three of them with the chance to become the greatest female swimmer in the history of the sport. So, mate, let's get it done.
Yeah, let's do it. All right, let's move off the 800 quickly.
Now to your favourite, what you've all been waiting for. King Kyle, 100 freestyle. 47.4, second in the world this year, with a moustache, pretty cruisy, did it comfy. And this is a dude that is just loving his swimming. He loves it. And you know why he loves it? He loves it because it's not about him. It's about the other guys. It's about the kids that he wants to bring through. And I said this to Megs at Australian Champs. He's got his Olympic title. If he gets another Olympic title in the 100, fantastic. You know what he wants? He wants that men's 4x1 to be right there and that finish. And he wants that more than anything else. And he's dragging them. He's come with me, boys. Let's do this together. And
Listen, I think I agree with you to an extent. He's still winning, right? Like he's still dominating these young kids. And as long as he's dominating them, he's going to be the puppet master. He's going to be the ringleader. He's going to be but as soon as one of those little kid knocks him off, he's not going to be as happy to be like, oh yeah, let's do this thing,
Yeah. No, well, this is it. This is the last dance for Kyle, and that's why he's having so much fun. He'll retire after Paris. It's over. And swimming for him it's a job, and he's got other things to do. He wants, he's going to open his reptile park, or whatever he's going to do. He's going to play.
He's on the tools.
Yeah, he's on the tools. He's going to play park footy. He's got other things in his life, but he's having so much fun. And then you saw, obviously, Flynn. He's bringing Flynn along for the ride. Flynn, let's do this. Flynn goes a 47.7, half-second PB. Like, come on, man. This kid's something, 18 years of age. He's in that Popovich kind of mold. He's skinny, lanky. He's obviously been a rock star on the junior circuit, but now he's taken another drop. And off the back of his 200, that was quite, I'm sure he'd be disappointed with his 200, but that 100 was just brilliant. So 47.7, like, what are you talking here? How many guys have gone under 47.5 in history? Like 20? 20 people have done that. Of that, probably half of them are in floaty suits. So this kid's just dropped half a second. If he drops another half second, I know that's a lot, but, now he's starting to get into rare air. He's starting to get into top 10s.
We actually almost had him on the live show here. I was talking to him about an hour ago and asked him to come on and talk to us live. He said he still had another event going on, so he's going to do it as soon as he's done swimming. But 47.7 is pretty good. Megan, do you know him at all?
Yeah, I know Flynn pretty well. He's a really good kid. I've known him, kind of started commentating on him when he was 16 at Age Nationals. So he was breaking Kyle Chalmers' Australian record a couple of years ago, and I've just kind of kept in contact with him. Super polite kid, but he's a bit of reminds me of Cam McAvoy. Really precise with things. Really loves his splits, his stroke rates, and loves the sport of swimming. And He's got his own little. I'll let him talk about it, but he's got his own little business going, like kind of like psychology of swimming. So he's got a little like academy, Flynn Southam. So he's really switched on about the psychology around swimming and what it takes to be really good at swimming. So he's really switched on. 47.7. He said he was super stoked with it. And what I love to see is, and like you said, Brett, like obviously Chalmers is taking everyone along for the ride because he's winning. But at the moment, I love to see him encouraging everyone. Like you see, Chalmers was stoked, but he was probably more stoked for Flynn that got under 48. So that's pretty cool. Like 2 guys under 48, and that's pretty cool. And I like to see that, like a bit of high fiving at the end. But good for the relay as well.
It's good for the relay. It looks like they're better than the British relay now.
Yeah, Megan was calling me out on Twitter earlier saying, like, look at this depth. And, it wasn't as good as the British trials, but it was good. It was good. And they're like, maybe we'll get bronze now at Worlds, which is, it's exciting, right? A bronze medal.
I have a few questions.
Someone made a good point. What's better, 247s and 448s or 748s? I don't know. Like, what's better?
We've got 347s.
Where? When did that? Where are they?
We don't have
Matt Richards, Tom Dean are all 4,700 freestyle, and Duncan Scott. We've got 4 47s. Oh, look at this 4. That's double you. 4 47s. Tom Dean's as good on the relay as King Kyle. So we've got 2 guys who have split 46. Can I just clarify?
We got a 47-0 that didn't even swim.
Yeah.
46-1 Duncan Scott, 46-6 Tom Dean, flat start 47-6 Lewis Burris, Matt Richards, best all-round 50 to 200 freestyle swimmer ever. Wow, what a team!
Wow. Are we taking bets right now on who's winning? Who's beating who at Worlds?
I just got one question. Like, why? How is it in 2023? How can you get to pick from 4 different countries for a relay team? I don't understand it with Great Britain. How is this a thing? How about we pick? I get to pick a relay from 4 different countries. I'll take a couple from Australia and one from the US, maybe one from.
Kurt's with me. I don't understand.
One from Romania. Why is this Great Britain thing a thing? Why can't you just race for your own countries?
Yeah, have you seen the size of Australia and the size? Wales is like the size of Sydney. Like each state of America and Australia is the equivalent of one of our countries. Times 10.
I'm going to put it out there. You can race as Great Britain in individual events, but come relays, mate, stick to your own country.
Yeah, and look, Kyle at the end is a 44 too. We all know that. You put Kyle at the you put Kyle at the back end of a relay. He's going to go 44. He'll swim past any Brit anytime.
So also shout out in those hundreds, Jack Cartwright, their third. 48.5. He went a 48.2 in the heats. So great to see Jack back. Obviously, a big part of the relay teams for Australia for the last couple of years, but great to see him back.
Got the 4th too, eh?
And Kai Taylor, a PB 48.6. I'm pretty sure maybe 5/100s quicker. Yeah. So and Temple's consistent as ever, and he's so good to have Temple on your team. Fantastic 100 flyer. He'll make the team 100 fly, and you can just stick him in anywhere. He's a plug and play for those relays. You need him to swim a heat, sweet. Someone's sick, maybe he slots into a final. He loves pressure. So
a little bit of heartbreak there for Cody Simpson too. Cody won the swim off, and then swam. He swam faster in the swim off, and then he swam faster in the final, but ended up finishing. Is the swim off? Okay.
Yeah. Good to see him. It's good for his 100 fly though. Like he went 49.1, so that's his PB, right?
Yeah.
Has he been? I don't think he's been 48, so that's a PB for him.
No, I think his best was like 49.4 before this.
Yeah, and he's got good speed. Like he's got some really good front end speed. Even in this, and you watch his turn, he comes out like nearly 3/4 of a body length, and then hurts a little bit, but it's good for his 100 fly. I think he's got good speed. He swam that 50 fly as well. I think he got 4th. So I mean.
Yeah, he hit those legs hard. He smashed his legs off that wall there, which kind of cost him a little bit at the end here. But tough. Good swimming.
His technique looks a lot better. He's definitely worked on that freestyle. It looks a lot more connected than it has.
Stuck his head down. Yeah, you're right, Sonny. It does look better. Yeah.
I just want to talk for you as well. Sorry, just to touch on with the freestyle, with the 100 freestyle, with what Popovic has done, for so long in world swimming, forever, we just seen breathing, don't breathe, it messes your stroke up. And now, mate, that is out and oxygen is just the king. You cannot breathe enough. David's breathing all the time. We saw Kyle, I think Kyle was breathing every stroke on the way back, and then maybe just the last 2 strokes at the finish is when he put his head down. Has Popovic changed the way swimming 100, 200 freestyles, getting enough? You can't get enough oxygen now.
100 freestyles always been every other stroke except the pure sprint boys. So Fred used to breathe. What did Fred breathe? 4s, 6s?
I mean, a lot of them would breathe like maybe once in the first 25. Like they would come out of their breakout, they'd get onto their speed, they'd take a breath, and then they'd kind of get into a pattern. But they'd put themselves in oxygen debt up front. It's kind of like a Popov. This is how Popov used to do it. He'd breathe once the first 25. And put himself in massive oxygen debt, whereas what Kurt's saying now is it's basically just every other.
But that's been years now. Like, Cam McAvoy, 2s. Back when he went 47-0, Carl's always been 2s. Even Dressel's 2s. Like, we've been 2s since the bodysuits, or the floaties, as you called them. But we've been 2s for a while. 200 free has only ever been 2s. And breathing is still not a thing in the 50s. So, I don't think Popovic has reinvented anything there. He's just doing what everyone else has done a little better, and he's still not a 21.50 swimmer. So,
yeah, I think a great example is you take a look at that final in Tokyo, the 100 free. Dressel does not breathe the last 15. Mm-hmm. Kyle breathes 5 times in the last 15, and he loses by 0.06. And that's nothing against him. But that's just the way he races it. And then you saw Kyle when he broke the world short course record 100 free. Mate, it was just almost like water polo. He was just couldn't get it. He was just sucking in the big ones. He loved it. So maybe it's more conducive to a short course than long course.
Not
but
even that.
I don't know.
Kyle can't do it for a stroke. He can't swim 50 Caleb Dressel can swim sprint freestyle. That's why he can go 21.0. He can go 20.1 short course. Kyle he hasn't mastered that pure sprint stroke. So Caleb can switch to that if he's got enough left at the end. Kyle's best option is to keep breathing. That's his best 50 freestyle stroke. And that's why Kyle probably has tools physically to be as good as Caleb on a 50, but doesn't have the technical understanding yet.
Yeah, it is interesting because Caleb, whenever you see Dressel, he doesn't breathe the last 15 meters of 100 freestyle. And so coaches will probably look at that and say, hey, he's the best. He's Olympic champion. Don't breathe the last 15 meters. But then you got the world record holder who does breathe, every 2s down the last lap until the last couple. So it's a little bit of, find what works for you, I think, is probably the ideal message. Absolutely.
Yeah, no, I agree though. The more oxygen is definitely the way to go. I think people are still playing with the best way to get speed out of themselves. And Caleb's idea of speed, the last 15, is put the head down and just get into his body position. Kyle's idea of speed is to hold his line, get his breathing. So I think everybody's a little bit different in that sense. But yeah, you're seeing Popovic and Kyle both having results by breathing further. So, yeah, look, I think that's a cracking race as well. It's another one. You could follow these 3 guys almost. If Dressel's going to be part of this picture or, maybe one of the French guys. But, you follow, 3 or 4 of these guys in the build-up to this event. I think this is the race of the meet on the men's side at the Olympic Games.
Yeah, if you had to pick 2 races, women's and men's, surely women's 400, men's 100.
Right. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's a cracker. Good for Kyle. I thought he was going to be a little faster again. I think he's going to be better in a better pool. I still think it's a training pool. I've said this a couple of times here on this show. I think it's an average venue, so there's probably some waves he was dealing with there, and but yeah, it's good to see the Aussies getting back into that contention for the relay. Look, nothing to take away from the Brits. I think they've got 4 guys that are really tight knit. You know what? The Brits remind me of the Denver Nuggets right now. The Denver Nuggets. They've got they've got superstars, but they seem to be more cohesive as a unit. You know, Sonny, I'm giving you props here. You could at least smile. You know.
No, I'm going to disagree. I'm going to say Australia is more like the Nuggets because you've got Kyle, who is, the Joker, and he makes everyone around him better. He's trying to get Flynn involved. He's trying to get Kai involved, and pulls out the 200. Kai wins that. Just adds to the story. It's crazy. So in those kids' eye, like they grew up watching Kyle win that Olympic title as a kid. And so
you're saying the Brits are like the Lakers? Is that what you're saying? Where they're just pulling people from all different countries and putting a jacket on them.
Well, I think the Brits are trying to make a super team across 4 countries. That's what they're trying to do. But I'm stoked for British swimming as well. And what about Dunk? Like he's just a bad man. That kid he just rips. And if you saw that guy on the street, he just looks like the guy next door. He has physically, he still has the body of like a 16-year-old kid. But what he can produce is just incredible.
Yeah. It's going to be cracking. A lot of Gary Hall in the comments. What's happening with Gary Hall? Nate, you there? Nate's sleeping on us.
Yeah, just Gary was breathing every other in the 2000 Olympics in the 100. That's all.
Yeah, I guess that's why he got touched out by Thorpe in the 4x1, kind of like what will happen to the Brits.
I think also history repeating. You look at those 4x1 freestyle relays, Sydney 2000. Clooney breaks the world record in the lead-off swim. Australia wins. And then you even go back to Beijing in 2008, and probably a forgotten world record. Eamon Sullivan broke the world record in the lead-off for the Aussies there as well. Would you put, money on Kyle breaking the world record if he led off for Australia in Paris? Mate, in his last swim?
You can't lead him off, though. He's an anchor leg. You've got to have. You can't. You even if he does break the world record on lead off, which is possible, you can't have him on the front. You've got to. He's the guy who's clutch at the back. If he dives in close to anyone, you've got to have him. You've got to have him to win. You can't.
Yeah, we just have McAvoy break the world record up front.
Have we got confirmation McAvoy can go 2 laps? You've been speaking to him. Like, can he get back to it? Have you said? I haven't.
Oh yeah, he'll go 2 laps. He loves it. He'll go 2 laps for sure.
He loves it.
At the Olympics, he'll pull out 2 laps. Yeah, he'll be ready for that one. I mean, who wouldn't want to be part of that relay if you've got Kyle like you said?
It's one thing to want. It's another thing if you've still got it. It's a big difference between a 50 and a 100. It's been.
Mate, if you've got 21.5 speed, you can go 47 flat on a relay. Like you know that's what Manidu's proven, and even my boy, what's his name? Bruno used to do it. Bruno had just top end speed, but he could put together 100 for the Brazilian relay anytime he wanted. So yeah, I mean, you put the green and gold cap on and say, hey, just beat this team over here who's put 4 countries together. I'll step up and get it done.
Yeah. People are getting annoyed with us in the comments because we've not mentioned this guy once. Pan Zhanli, the Chinese man who went 47-2. World lead, and we're not putting him in that 100 free talk. He comes back almost as fast as Popovich. We should at least mention him because he's bloody good.
Well, look, I'll be fair to myself here. I couldn't pronounce his name, so I avoided it. Like, I'll just be honest.
Pan's the man. Season best. So throw him in the mix. It just makes it better. It makes it. Makes that 100 an international flavor of it as well. Where's it going to come from? It's coming from it's a global event. Love it.
Yeah.
He's 18 as well. He's young. Jesus Christ, young swimmers are good.
Is he 18? Wow.
18. Yeah, we probably will be talking about him a whole lot more in the future. I've got a feeling.
So I need to learn how to pronounce his name. How do I pronounce his last name, Kurt? You're the other pronunciation guy. What's his last name?
I don't want to. Leave it with me. Just say Pan the man.
Pan the man, yeah.
Dan the man has said Pan is a one-hit wonder.
Wow.
At 18, a one-hit wonder. That's
Wow. Like the Proclaimers? Wow, one-hit wonder.
I want Pan just to prove Dan wrong now. I just want him to go 46 just to prove what I hate how we're just like if he was American, it'd be like, oh yeah, we want him to be great. Or if he was Australian, but because he's Chinese, you want him to be a one-hit wonder, or think no, get over it. You know, this guy's good at swimming. We shouldn't want him to not be good just because he's from China. Like, I
thought Danny's other comment was even better than that one. You know, he's 18, but he's pretty much 17. Like,
no, I tell you what, I don't know what the world record is, but if he was a week, he's 18 now, Dan. But if he was 17, he would have broke the world. I don't know if Popovich has the junior world record, but that would be interesting.
No, Popovich absolutely has the world junior record.
Yeah, for sure.
How do the world junior records work? How do they work? Because like they don't get backdated, do they? From like when Thorpe was crushing it as a kid, or no? So
it's a real problem because some American age group records, some Australian age group records are quicker than the world junior records because they started, I think, in 2012 or along those lines. So yeah. Look at this. Santo Condorelli is Canadian, but he's pretty much American and Italian.
That's classic. We need some more of these comments coming in. These are beautiful comments.
I just want to put it out to you guys. Just just a wrap from the trials so far in Australia. What's been your favorite swim out of all of them?
Megan?
Obviously, Caitlin McKeown, she was 0.05 off the 100 back. I think 100 back was probably her best swim off that world record. And I think in a slow pool, she's been super fast and super consistent. Like the whole season, she's been consistent. She's just, I love watching her swim. So she's a big favorite of mine. Oh, Kai Taylor also. He's my friend.
Okay. Sonny, what's been your favorite so far?
I'm waiting for the 50 freestyle. My comment's probably very similar to yours, but 23.0 is seriously fast, and that's like Cam McAvoy solidifying. Yeah. He's not just going to be some guy who goes 21.8s and 21.9s and has a crack at being a sprinter, but he's someone that we're going to really be talking about come the finals at big meets.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Like just seeing his speed and seeing him execute, and I'm so excited for his free. He's not a butterfly. He's not a natural butterfly, and for him to go 23 flat, that's a legitimately world-class swim in butterfly. So, yeah, I think his free is going to be special. I think, look, the best swims we've seen all year in the 50 freestyles, 21.8. There's 45 people that have done it. And these guys that are going 21.5, 21.4, 21.3 are completely separating themselves from the rest of the world. I think that's going to be where Cam McAvoy's in. He's in that money. So I'm super pumped to watch this 50 free. Again, not the best pool to do it in. They haven't given him the best conditions, but I think he's ready for at least kind of a 21.5 swim to get him on this team, put him in contention for a world championship in the 50 free would be outstanding.
Would be unbelievable. And I know you say a lot, Brett, about how the first 20 meters of a 50 freestyle was so critical, but we'll have to see how he looks compared to some of the bigger and faster guys. But he looks brilliant to 15, 20 meters right now. And we know he's got the stroke efficiency to finish the race. And if he has really improved that first 15, which I know he's telling you the time, so he knows if he is, then if he does want to go after the 100, that's a really dangerous fort. Someone who's capable of 47.0 with a new improved start, what a combination that could be.
Yeah.
Come next year.
Yeah. This is a good call from the chess grandmaster. I think he's right in terms of the swim of the meet. We've got the women's 100 free, and we've been talking about these Aussie women for a long time and what they can do in the 100 free. And, that's going to be exciting. We did see the Olympic champ not swimming particularly well in the 50 fly. Is she going to turn it around in this 100 free, or is she going to get knocked off here, Kurt?
I think she'll struggle. I think she'll struggle against Molly for sure. Molly in the form that she's in, that 200 free has surely got to be one of the top three swims of the meet. 153.8, fifth fastest in history. Dethroned the Olympic champion Arnie. But yeah, Emma's the same as Arnie. You never write off a champion. She'll do what she has to do to get through. And I think the one thing with Molly that I don't think we've touched on enough is the practice that she gets. In that 100 back, she gets to take on the Olympic champ and the world record holder, pushing her all the time in Kaylee. In the 100 free, she takes on the Olympic champ, second fastest all time in Emma. And Emma and Sarah are the only two ever to go sub 52 and 100. And then 200 free, she gets to take on the former, the world record holder in Arnie. So, second fastest in history, sorry. So, she's got some great opposition, but Molly,
This is
is she the most skilled? I think she's the most skilled. Like, I don't think we've seen an Australian with skills like hers. Yeah. Not in the women's side. Like underwaters, starts, turns. She just eats it up, and it's very US-like. And a lot of Americans watching on the broadcast are like, why are Aussies not so good? It's the metric system. It kills us. We don't get to race yards. We don't get to race in college. So starts and turns aren't as important. Most of the pools in Australia are long course 50-meter pools. Yeah. And so all of a sudden you've got Molly who, came from that background under Paul Sansby at Waterworks out there near Ipswich. And he was just a cowboy. He's just a brutal taskmaster, And from the age of 8, just ripping those turns and underwaters. And that was her strength. And then to go from there onto Boxall where the skill set's already set in stone, and now Boxall gets her out and gets her, pumping during, doing the hard yards, doing the work against the Olympic champ, and all of a sudden you've got this perfect combination. There's
a big call though from Danny here. Yeah. This is kind of the point I was trying to make. Megan, do you think that Emma might not even get one of the top 2 spots?
So I'm going to be really careful here because my coach, Michael Ball, obviously coaches Emma McKeown. And he
doesn't listen to this. He never listens.
No, well, last time he did.
He listens to everything.
He did last night. He sent me a really nice message this morning, actually. But last time I didn't back his swimmer, and he got a little bit shitty at me. So, but I think it's really interesting. I don't know if you can get the 50 fly up, but it's actually interesting, Brett, because you say in a 50, if you win the first person to 20 meters usually wins a 50, right? And you see in that 50 fly, Emma's start and her breakout, she's ahead by quite a bit first 20 meters. But then she just and you'll see her she's the last one to come up, and she's about half a body length already. And she's the first to maybe 25. Yeah. And then these 2 youngsters outside lane 3 and lane 5 just absolutely swallow her up in the last 10 meters. And I've never seen Emma ever kind of shorten up. And I've never really seen her being beaten in a domestic meet at a big trials or anything. So that 100 free, I don't want to say it or jinx it, but I think Molly might produce something special. Shayna Jack, not too sure. I think Emma's got a fair bit of experience. You never write off an Olympic champ. So I think Emma's going to get absolutely a individual spot.
What about the outside unbiased opinion? We've got the inside biased opinion here from Megan. She's not allowed to say what she really thinks. No, she did. What about you, Sonny? What's the unbiased opinion here?
Well, looking at Emma last year at the Commonwealth Games, watching her swim race after race, I'd back her to win every 100 freestyle for the rest of time. And I'd back Bowley as well. But watching that 50 butterfly right there, I mean, I don't think she's getting an individual spot. I mean, that looked really ropey at the end. And look, it's butterfly, it's a 50. Now we're talking about a freestyle 100-meter race. So, nothing's transferable. And if, she's a champ, she'll pick herself back up and go in to win it. But it's the deepest 100 freestyle field in the world. It's almost as tough as World Championships. So third place is not anything to sort of be sad about. And I actually got a memory from 2 years ago, 3 years ago, the Olympic trials, and Molly O'Callaghan was third with 53.2, and 4 girls went 52. Like, it's crazy how deep that Australian team is. And Molly was 6th at the last Olympic trials. Now she's, the one to win it. And, just making that relay is like basically saying, we could get a world record in a few weeks.
Yeah. Crazy. Well, I think people forget as well, Molly's the world champion. She's the first Australian since Thorpe to win 6 medals at a world championships. And she only just lost to Arnie in the 200 at Com Games by like 12 100ths regardless. So, but that women's 4x1, they're going for four straight Olympic titles come Paris.
Oh, are they really? Wow.
Yeah, and so you'd be crazy to back against them. And we haven't even spoken about Meg Harris as well, who can rip. So
Shayna Jack. Shayna Jack can go. I mean, they got so much talent there. And look, they're not losing the Olympics in that relay. There's no one even close in that relay worldwide to match the 4 swimmers that Australia can put on a block. The only way they could lose is they beat themselves. They false start, do something tragic. But they're certainly not losing that. But man, the pressure to make that top 2 individual swim at either this World Championships or even next year at the Olympics is just phenomenal.
Now I'm going to put it out there as well. We're sorry, Meeks, but just with world swimming, and can we make a change? And what do you think? If you swim a top 8 time in a calendar year leading up to the Olympics at an officially endorsed meet, should you be able to go to the Olympics regardless of what country you're from? If you're the 3rd best 100 freestyler in Australia and for the women, and you miss by 1/100th, and you could be the 3rd best in the world. And in the same, whoever was behind Phelps and Lochte for the US for all those years, missing it out. You want to see the best. Should you allow at least 3 if you're in the top 8 to compete at the Olympics? If you want to see the best of the best, or are you against it? What do you reckon?
So what would you do? You just go and swim for that mystery Russian team? You just go and you're not officially Russian. You just go and swim at the Olympics. Is that what you do?
Well, I think all it is that we give medals for 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. So we want to see at least the best 3 in the world in that Olympic final, don't we? Regardless of what country you're from.
Yeah, but that's been the age old. I mean, you can go back, millennials on that one. It's like so many. I mean, the US have so many stories where they've had top 3 swimmers in the world. Bill Pilzik was one of my buddies that was one of those guys, top 3 in the world, never made an Olympic team. And look, that's a story as old as time, that one. But I don't think that's ever going to change unless you do swim under the Olympic banner and you're not officially part of anything. They invite you out, but. Now that unfortunately that will never happen, but the Aussies in a good position.
Right? It was 3 back in the 80s and the 70s. You had 3 swimmers, right? And then people swept podiums and they moved away. Am I wrong?
Oh, is that what happened?
Oh, well, is it athletics? Athletics, you get 3 as well. I'm pretty sure.
Still get 3, but swimming used to get 3, and I think it might have even been the East Germans when they just the women swept every podium in the 80s, all on testosterone.
Oliver's got the answer. Oliver's always got the answer.
Who's Oliver?
Okay, there you go.
Oliver.
1972.
Oliver's always got the answer.
They used to have 3. Yeah,
he's our Wikipedia for swimming. Yeah,
there we go.
Genius.
Thanks, Oliver.
East Germany and the US swept everything in 1976. Oh,
was
it 76 or 72?
Yeah, Oliver. Which one is
pretty good as well.
JB's good at.
Yeah.
Also, one other thing that's going to be really interesting is put Kate Campbell, put Bronte Campbell in. They're trying to make that relay team for next year's Olympics as well. So we're talking about the women's depth in the 100 freestyle. You're talking Shayna Jack and McKeown, putting Kate Campbell and Bronte Campbell, and that is going to be absolutely insane next year. So it'll be really, really interesting.
Yeah.
Kate going for five Olympics would be first in history.
Yeah. You won't want to be at 50% tapered for the Olympic trials next year in that event. That's for damn sure. You better be at your best, ready to go, fully shaved down, Kurt.
I'll hear that one more time. 50%.
We said our favorite events. That I just have to nitpick on that mixed 4x1 medley relay at the Olympics. It's got to go.
Mixed. Yeah, I don't even watch it. It's so terrible. Who came up with that idea?
This is what they did. They woke it up and they tried to get inclusive and mix it up, and it's just blown up in their face. So straight up, you can't have a female breaststroker in your team if you want to win a medal. It's just not possible. You can't do it. You saw the US try to do it in Tokyo. They put Jacoby in there and they got spanked. And I'd go as far as...
when she ate the goggles?
Yeah, when she ate the goggles. But regardless, she still swam really well. But breaststroke, there's over a 7-second differential between the world record for the men's 100 breaststroke and the women's world record for the 100 breaststroke. So you can't have a woman racing the 100 breaststroke. So that's exclusive. And I'd go as far to say you probably can't have a man swimming the anchor leg freestyle either, because it's too far to come back. You can't come over the wash. The gap's too large. So all of a sudden you've created an event, try to be inclusive. It's exclusive. I'd love to see it gone and replaced, but what would you want it replaced with?
50s of strokes, baby. 50s of strokes.
Well, an instant replace you'd think would be at least the mixed 4x1 freestyle. At least that's fairer. Like, at least you're going to get, you know what I mean?
I have zero interest in watching a mixed event because you know why? Nobody does any preparation for it. You can't prepare for it. At least for a medley relay, in the lead up to the Olympics, you can get your medley relay together and you can say, these are the guys that are going to win us the gold medal. These are the girls that are going to win us the gold medal. Let's prepare. Let's talk about it. When you're making a decision on the fly at the Olympics to say, who's ready to swim this mixed relay? Get that person off the massage table, put them over here, and let's slap something together and go and win us a gold medal. It's a joke. You know?
I'm not disagreeing with the base point here, but that's not what happened. The team selectors weren't just like, hey, he looks like he could do the breaststroke. Yeah, throw him in the mix. Like, come on.
What I'm saying is they're trying to figure it out on the spot of like they're making it up 5 minutes before they put the relay together. They've got the team there, but they don't have a clue.
It's not even mixed. It's the dude has to swim the backstroke and the butterfly, and I mean the backstroke and the breaststroke or whatever, and the women have got to swim butterfly freestyle. Like, you can't even.
Yeah, they're trying to do math on the spot too. It's like who are they competing against? Like, if this team's got that team, and if they put somebody here, like, it's stupid. It's like all this, and then you get them in the pool, and somebody swims, 10 yards ahead, then someone catches up 10 yards, and it's like, what is happening? It's all over the place. It's like, please, can this be over quickly? And so I can just move on, or I'm going to go and have a snack break,
Or 50. What about 50 underwater?
Oh,
no, I can't do that. But I'd give us some 50s of strokes, mate. Come on, let's give the 50s the credit they deserve. I mean, we've got some beasts that train for these 50s. We've seen it in the sprint freestyle. Why can't we see it in the? Imagine what we would do. Imagine the beast you'd have lining up for the 50 breaststroke at the Olympics.
Mark Warneke making a comeback at age 55?
Just massive quads, just getting up on the block. They can't swim 100 to save their life, but they're just massive jacked men swimming the 50 breaststroke. That'd be outstanding. Nick Santos, he'd be still going. Like, he'd be swimming in LA.
Nick Santos is still going. He's still freaking racing. Nick Santos hasn't gone anywhere.
That's what I'm saying. He'd be in LA, He'd be...
I saw Dylan the other day, and Dylan was like, "Yeah, I went to this meet in Mexico," and I'm like, I'm told I'm the favorite for the 50 fly, and I get to the final, and Nick Santos is in lane 4, and I'm like, "Didn't you quit like 4 months ago?" And then he beats me. He goes like 23-4, and Dylan's like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "I got invited." And it's like, wait, Nick's not gone anywhere.
Nah, he's not going anywhere. Not going anywhere. All right. Well, listen. This has been cool. We've been talking for a while. Looks like Kurt might have frozen on us again. Are you frozen, Kurt? Oh no, you're there.
No.
You're there. Oh, I thought you froze on us. I was like, damn it. How did we stop him?
I was trying to listen after interrupting you enough. So
no, you've been electric, mate. You've been electric. I'll tell you this. We've got. I think Rowan Taylor is going to come on the program tonight. I might do a recording with him. We might put that out. Just get his thoughts on the team itself. Kurt, did you give an opinion on the guys that won events but hadn't qualified? Do you think they're going to take those guys?
They'll take some. They may not take others. Like, they've been pretty harsh in the past, haven't they? With some of those times, and I think Liz Deckers is a great example of that. She they didn't take her to Tokyo. So when it's like, well, she was just a kid, would have been, great experience for her regardless.
Yeah.
But the flip side of that, does she get angry and be like, well, you didn't pick me on the Olympic team and now I'm coming out? And then she got fourth for Com Games. She gets angrier and now she delivers PB. So, there's justification both sides. I think when you speak to Rowan, mate, you have got to ask him about this women's medley relay. I can't wait to hear what his thoughts are on that.
What do you mean?
Well, how are they going to put it together? How's it going to work? Is Molly going to swim the backstroke? What do you do with? Is Kaylee going to swim breaststroke? You can have it whoever you want in freestyle.
You think he's going to give me the answer, so he'll just put it on paper for us?
No, but I just think like you do the simple math. Like, is Harkin going to be quick enough to cut it, or do you stick Kaylee in there, and then is Molly quick enough in the 100 back now to try and get? I don't know. These are the things that you're going to.
I can tell you the answer. He'll give me on camera as soon as I turn off camera. I'll tell you. Give me a different answer, but it's one of those things. You know, the film crew. We can only tell you after the event. We're not going to tell you before.
What a bizarre setup that, the world champion in the 100 freestyle will be swimming, the backstroke leg, the world record holder, Olympic champion in the backstroke will be swimming breaststroke. The Olympic champion, 100 free, Emma could be swimming, 100 fly, and then you take your pick who wants to swim the freestyle leg. But yeah, that's plenty of fun and games. But yeah, Rowan's a good egg. You'll get some stuff out there.
This will be good to finish on. I do want to just touch on this, get everyone's opinion here. Maybe start with you, Sonny. What's your opinion on this one, Sonny?
I don't know. Michael Andrew's been a bit up and down this year. And I was maybe feeling a bit worried for him because I want him to do well. I like Michael. But, the first, everything until we went 21-7 at Monaco Mare Nostrum just wasn't good. His 100 breasts have been bad. His 50 threes were 22 twos, 22 threes. And then he went 21-7 with this new stroke, which is to go that fast with a very new, fresh change is really, really impressive.
Yeah.
I still like. I get what he's trying to do with the stroke, but I just think he's like, oh, God, I've got no. He's a bit there and not there. On the stroke, I think it can still be tweaked a little more. But 21-7, who am I to talk?
Yeah, I agree with you. 21-4, you think?
Yeah, if we're going to do a prediction time, but yeah.
Yeah. Look, I was a little bit skeptical. I thought he was leaving his run a little bit too late. He looked a little heavy. He was doing some things a little odd. He did put out a video today. His dad put out a video today, and where he had some pop in him. Now, the technique itself isn't exactly where I would want it to say that he's going to go 21-1 or 21-2. I don't think he's there either. I agree with you, Sonny. But maybe he scraps together a 21-4 swimming the way he's swimming. And it seems to me he's putting a lot of emphasis on the sprint free, the 50 free, and maybe the 100 breast at this meet. So he's moved away from maybe some of these other events. So to me, it looks like he's really putting his eggs in the sprint free basket, and the 100 breast basket. But if I was going to give a prediction, I would probably say, because the stroke's not where it should be yet, even though he's got some pop to him, I'd probably say 21-4, which would still be the world leading time, fastest time in the world. But that's what I would think. Megan, you got any? You follow his dad on Instagram?
Yeah, I follow Michael Andrew. I don't follow his dad, but I think it's actually good to see him away from the 200 IM. Like, I think his technique in that freestyle, that last 15 meters of a 200 IM, was maybe the most painful thing I've ever watched in my whole life. But I think he's like you said, focusing more maybe on the sprint and the 100 breaststroke. But if we're going to do a prediction, I like the guy. I think he's got a bit of charisma about him, and I think I'd say 21-3. That's being generous.
That's
nice.
Really quick. Yeah, that's really quick. Kurt, you have an opinion on this one?
I think never write him off. That's the thing. Every time you think, oh, maybe he's done, he just comes up and surprises you. I don't know if you, Hawking, your career, but we saw it with, Lumpy Michael Clement. He changed his stroke mid-career, and it made him. Once he got that straight arm going, he was ripping, and that helped him for his fly and his freestyle as well. But that got him that world record and got him that Olympic, 4x1 gold. I think the change in stroke is correct. I just think how long is it going to take to click for him is probably what we've got to see. And give it 12 months. I reckon he'll be right on it. I reckon he'll be a real threat.
Yeah, he still seems to me like he's burying his head. He's like, I agree with Sonny. There's it's not completely flowing. Like I've had the grace of God to be able to coach Fred Bousquet, who was just the best at it, right? Like he's just like, if you could just take a picture of somebody and say that's how you do it, Fred Bousquet was the man. And so I spent many hours watching him do it really well and perfecting it. So he's not quite at Fred Bousquet's level yet. That's why I don't want to give him that 21-3 yet, I think. But he's a racer. He's got racing under his belt. He's a gamer. He'll play and he does have talent. He's natural talent. Like he's got a lot of things going for him. So yeah, I would say he'll be probably in that range, but he's still the technique itself is not exactly where I want. He's bearing a little bit. So maybe if he can find a little lift in him, maybe in taper, and maybe he clicks one together. So, but yeah, I think it's going to be somewhere around that 21.4 to 5 range, maybe. So we'll see. But yeah, good way to finish. Kurt, this has been awesome, mate. Thanks for jumping in here.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys. Always good to talk a bit of schmack in the swimming world. Thanks for putting up with me, butting in all the time, and hopefully we can chat again. I don't know. It'd be great to have a chat around World's time and do a recap of something there, and then definitely, we'll go again when I'm in Ireland, and I'll give you some updates in that under 23s. European.
I don't know what we're doing for it. We kind of make things up on the spot. We decided to do this show, this week. So maybe we'll do the same for US trials. I don't know. We'll see how. You're in the US, so same time zone. So it might be good just to maybe watch some of that and get some commentary there. So
if you need me, call me.
Yeah, love it. All right, appreciate it, guys. Later.
Thanks, guys.
Ciao, bye.